Alright guys, let me get my camera adjusted. I hope everybody's hump day was okay. Alright. Okay, there we go, that looks good. Okay. So, how was everybody's hump day? Was everybody's hump day okay? The way I've always looked at like Wednesdays is it's like you try to get the when you get about halfway through Wednesday, then everything's all sliding down the hill. You know what I mean? Let's wait for another minute or two. Harris Heller, the guy who writes the music for this, he has that YouTube channel. What was it? Senpai Gaming, and the new business model for YouTube is what Harris Heller uses. Okay, he provides a service. Okay, he doesn't charge for like you using his music on your lives or on your videos or on your content. He doesn't charge for that. Where he gets his money from is where I'm trying to get my money from, which is sponsors, those sorts of things. So it's quite a unique little thing. Hey, what's up, Denise? So, okay, I guess I'll get started here. All right. Just had to wait for my moderator to introduce herself. All right. Hi, my name is Daryl Phillips, owner of N.A.G.214 Gaming, and what we do here is listen to you talk. So today, I think what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to do some more, like just telling you guys different stuff about my past. Some stories are going to be fun. Some stories are not going to be so fun. Remember, you guys got to keep in mind that I was homeless for a long time. So those aren't exactly the greatest of times. Let's see, where should I start? Well, like I said, today's hump day, and I know everybody, depending on who I've talked to, some people have had worse weeks, some people have had better weeks or whatever, but I hope to God you guys are getting through the week the best way you can. I'm telling you, carry your ingredients. It will help you through your week. Because I know how it is, man. People have bad days. And so, you get through the week and you don't want to snap at somebody. You don't want to do something stupid. But, I was thinking about those stories I was telling last night, and I was thinking of other stuff to talk about, like to tell as far as stories are concerned. And I guess I will start in the same direction as I ended last night on a funny story. So my mom, y'all ever want to know where I got my cruel ability to joke with people? You can blame my mother. For all of my mom's kindness and for all of my mom's Christianity, my mom had a dark streak through her. What's up, Lori? So one time, my mom, okay, just a little background here. My mom would play practical jokes on people, and she did it all the time. She loved messing with people. Does that sound familiar? My mom was a Bible-learned Christian, knew more about the Bible than my father. So, do you understand? Like what I'm trying to say? I got that from my mom. So, like when, I can't even make this up, and y'all are going to laugh so hard what I'm about to say. One time she tried to convince me, keep in mind that I'm adopted, I don't know who my biological father is. She tried to convince me I was black. Yup. That made me sad. But she would do things like that, okay? She loved torturing my father, okay? She would have me and Jacqueline hold him down by force. So we'd have a leg apiece, and then she would get my dad was extremely ticklish, and she would get down and she would tickle him, and she would be like, Jack on Daryl, grab his legs. And my father was such a kind man, okay, that my mom knew he wasn't going to hurt us. Like he wasn't going to kick us off or something. That he would endure the pain and suffering. And so my dad would try to fight my mom, and then there was a point where he would give it. It would be very quickly. My mom would get him, and then he just couldn't stand it, and then he was weak, and it was so easy for us to hold him down. And my mom probably tickled him to he almost peed several times. Okay, so that was kind of who my mom was. All right. So she would play jokes on. She did it to everyone. To everyone. My dad was a pretty good jokester too, but my mom was the big clown. She was the mean one. She was the one that you guys would call mean. My mother was mean about her jokes sometimes, and it was great. Okay. Well, one time, a joke backfired on her. Okay. And what happened was my uncle, yes, that uncle, my uncle, her brother was up there, and my mom, my uncle had these two scars on the side of his fingers, right there, on each side, right there. And my mom told him, well, you know where that comes from, though, don't you? He goes, no. She goes, oh, Granny didn't tell you? Mama, what she called her Mama. Mama didn't tell you? He goes, no. He goes, well, you were born with 6 fingers. Of course, Gerald was like, no way, right? So he calls Granny. Okay, he calls Granny to find out if that was true. He had just got in from coming from Texas. And my grandmother's like, yeah, that's true. And my mom thought that my grandmother was playing along until to her horror that actually it was true. That he was actually born with 6 fingers on each side. That he has an extra appendage on each side of his hand. My mom was doing it as a joke, but in actuality, it was true. Oh, my mom felt sick to her stomach because I told you my mom doesn't do that. She doesn't tease people's handicaps and stuff. She would never tease a person's their birth defect. And she feels so sick to her stomach, and now the joke is turned around on my mom because my mom feels saltier than hell for teasing her brother, and it backfired. My mom was mean as a kid, though. Man. Dude, if I had done half the stuff that my mama did, do you know what my mom did? My mom and my Uncle Chuck, Christy's dad, used to chase each other around with butcher knives. What the? Okay. One time, my mom was flicking soap suds at my Uncle Chuck, and my Uncle Chuck my mom was being an irritant, and so she's doing that, flicking the soap suds, and he takes a bowl of tuna fish and dumps over her head. That happened. Just the cruelty of it all. But anyway, no. I tell okay, so one of the reasons why I don't tell the funnier parts of my life like that is because while it is lighthearted and stuff, and it does give some insight on that it wasn't always like it became. So some of the stories about, Gerald being convinced that he has 6 fingers and stuff, and then coming to find out that just stuff like that, and the stuff that I told you guys yesterday, I want you guys to know what life was like before 1996. For me. Before I was 17. And really, to be honest with you, it was before I had one good year in high school, and that was my 9th grade year. And the rest of it was horrible. I started acting out and running away and things. But you got to understand, my cousin Christy, for example, what she does right now is she works with mentally ill people because her son has bipolar disorder. Okay? And that's important to understand. All right? That's important to understand because her son has bipolar disorder and spectrum. That's right. So he's autistic and he has bipolar disorder, which means he's a very confused child. And he's done bad things already. He's already done bad things, and he's not even an adult. But what she tries to do, tries to make parents aware. And this, by the way, I was very hesitant of doing this. This was Christy's idea. She likes it when I tell my stories because it gives some insight to parents that even, like you guys, if you guys didn't know what you should have been picking up on last night, I'll tell you in a minute. Like, those stories were funny and all, but there was a real purpose for those stories last night. And I'll tell what you should have been paying attention to. Because as a parent, if you are a parent, I know so many of you ladies that get on here, you guys have grown children, so it's a little bit too late for that. But anybody who ever sees this live, if you have children that are still in high school or even elementary or younger, you need to be aware of what to look for. I showed signs of bipolar long before I ever was diagnosed. But my mom didn't know what to look for. My mom couldn't know. She didn't know. It wasn't her fault. But until it was too late, you know what I mean? So, but Christy gave me this idea, and it's taken me a long time to even want to do this, to be honest with you. That's why I haven't done it, because I want to use my stories in an educational sense. I do not want, and I'm gonna warn you ahead of time. I do not want you to feel sorry for me. I don't even want sympathy. I don't want sympathy, and I don't want empathy. I want you to just effing learn. Learn what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, I don't need sorrow. I have dealt with my problems. You don't need to. Okay, I've dealt with all those things. All right, or else I wouldn't be better. But there is a real purpose to continuing to remember them, so that I can inform parents and educate parents about what to look for. So take, for example, the story of my basketball thing. So that was a funny story, wasn't it? I was willing to starve myself just to get over my mom and dad, just so I could get ungrounded, so I could deceive them. That was also, you could not have been more selfish as a human being at that moment. And I don't want to hear about you were just a kid. I also read my Bible. Jesus was just a kid at 12 when he was teaching the people, the rabbis at the synagogue. And Joseph was 17 when he resisted a woman who was coming on to him, an older woman who was coming on to him at the peak of his sexuality. I don't want to hear that crap about you're just a kid. No, there was other things you should have been listening to about that story. So, for example, my decision, it's like my mom said, why, Daryl? Remember I said that? Why would I starve myself? Starve myself. Stay at the school till 11:30 at night just so I could be ungrounded and risk my father's wrath. Yeah, that's right. Also, that's a good point, Lori. Sorry, Lori. I did forget about that point. Yes. Yeah, grandchildren too. Yes. Yeah, that's true, Lori. Sorry. I was thinking about, I wasn't thinking. I don't exactly have grandchildren, so sorry, I wasn't thinking like that. Yeah, no, you are absolutely right, though, Lori. I wish my grandmother would watch this, in fact. Just saying. My family don't want to know anything about it, not even with Christy. It's sad. Some people are just like that, but check this out. So that's that basketball story. I chose to torture myself at what? 8th grade was when I had to have been 13, maybe? Something like that. 13? I was going through my puberty. I was just starting my puberty and stuff like that. I was a hungry boy. I was an active kid, man. I used to do tag and everything. I was skinny as hell. I was 120 pounds with straight up football pads on. I was a skinny little fuck. Pardon my friends. So I chose to starve myself instead of, had I told my mom and dad the truth, I just wouldn't have been ungrounded. I wouldn't have gotten more trouble. But that's not the way my mind interpreted that. I went to this giant mountain that never existed. I did that a lot back then. I've done that in my adult years, into my 20s. I did that. Where I built stuff up so bad, not just punishment or something, but I would build something up so big that I needed grappling hooks to climb it, when in reality it was just a molehill. That is a sign of not right thinking. It's not even a sign of disobedience. It's a sign. It was disobedience, but that's not what caused me to do that. How could I have logically reasoned in myself that it was okay for me to stay at school for 7 hours after school just so I could do that? And I did that a lot, all right, as a kid. So while some of these stories are funny, there's a sadness to some of them because you just go, wow. Just like, wow. Like effing wow, dude. You know? I'm sorry. That you can call me an evil bastard all you want to, but my favorite story is the snowmobile story. I'm sorry. I got over my mom. I'm good. But see, that's also a sign of something else. You go, what? Well, that even though I automatically knew how to be extremely smart at moments, and I mean really, really smart, why didn't I see it? That's true. That's true, Lori. But that snowmobile story, it's funny, right? I was smart enough to outsmart my mom and dad, plan this elaborate plan, pull it off without a hitch, get away with it scot-free. Yet I still did not understand myself. Yet I still didn't know what to fucking do with it. Now that's important. All right? That's important because that would lead me for a long time later. See, as long as my mom and dad were there, I always knew someone would believe in me. So I had no want to change. I thought everything would be fine eventually. That's the way I planned my life out. A very unorganized, undisciplined, very much on the whim kind of life. I got tired of Minneapolis. I'd go to Dallas, Texas. Get tired of Dallas, Texas, I'd go to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Vice versa. I did that triangle, Minnesota, Dallas, Harrisburg. I probably did that 50 times. I was always running from cities. I get bored and I run from the cities. Here's the problem. There was one tiny little problem. The problem's name was Daryl. There was always one thing in the equation that was always the same. I was there. Simple. I was there. Which means that the problem was never going to be resolved by running away to another city. But with that being said, I had fun in some ways, in many cases, that were just normal fun. That had nothing to do with bipolar. But then some of the fun that I had, you can clearly see something's wrong with me. I jumped a train from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and arrived in Aurora, Illinois. Yeah. Let alone the whole entire reason why I was up there in the first place. For any of you guys who don't know the story, I guess I'll tell the story again. I've said the story to Denise in private. I've never actually said it online like this, I don't think. I might have one time. Anyway, it's been a while. How I even got up there, I can tell you how I got up to Minneapolis. I do not for the life of me. There's one part of that story I do not remember. I do not remember how the hell I got to my parents' house. I know how I got to Minneapolis. It was a Greyhound bus. In fact, I had already started drinking by that point, long before Jennifer. And so I had gotten so drunk that I wasn't even allowed on the Greyhound bus. So I had to go sober up and then get on the Greyhound bus. That was bad, right? But we went up, and I had this weird thing where when I wanted to do something, I did it, and it did not matter the consequences. There was no thinking anything through. One of the reasons why I tell you guys that and you guys couldn't possibly know this because you haven't known me for that long. Many of you have only known me a short time, and you might love the person I am now, but you never knew this side. There was no way in effing hell I could have ever run a business before. No way. Point in case. I decided I want to go. I was with this girl, Kenya, a very nice girl. I took this girl, all the way up to Wisconsin to meet my parents without even bothering to try to call my parents. I never even bothered to warn them that I was coming. I thought it would be awesome to just sneak up and surprise them. Traveling that far, it probably would have been wiser for me to call them and find out that, oh wait, they're not there. They had come down to Texas to visit Granny and Pawpaw. I didn't know that because I didn't bother to call. No thinking things through. All right? And it was one of those weird years. Normally the coldest years, and I'm not saying that it wasn't colder later, it doesn't usually get brutal cold until after January. Okay? I can think of several birthdays I've had. My birthday's January 7th. I can think of several birthdays I've had in which it was brutal cold. Okay? No, we weren't near my birthday. It was near Thanksgiving. That time period. maybe even October. No, it wasn't even then. It was October. But there was a nasty cold front that had come in, and it was brutal cold. Brutal. Minus 20 wind chill. Well, so we arrive, we get to my parents' house, and they're not home. I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. Thank God my friend Stephanie, her mom worked at the hotel, the Luck Hotel. She let us stay for a few days, and then we had to go. I had to stay in. First time I had ever stayed in a homeless shelter before was in Minneapolis. Was actually at the Catholic Charities where I would eventually meet Dwan. Same Catholic Charities. They called it, that the nickname of that place was called the Tramp Camp. Yeah. Ironically, we would actually meet a tramp, a real one, a real train tramp. Now, this is before 9/11, so rules were a bit different back then. You can't get away with this as now. You go to prison. But people still went on trains. And they would hop on trains. And that's what I did. That's how I ended up hopping a train. And then we ended up in even a worse situation I'm not going to get into right now. But those are the kind of decisions making that I was making back then. Random, on the spot, stupidity, half of it. The fact that I didn't die of something dumb is quite amazing, really. You know? But then, you know, I slowed it down when I got married and all that stuff, and certain things about me, the way I would think would be a little bit different. But still, there were these moments where I would just do crazy crap. All because I wanted to. Not because of logic, not because I needed to, but because I just wanted to. All right. So that's one of the reasons why I don't tell my stories. I tell my stories in a certain way because while you guys might like listening to them, and even some of them might be funny, it's not why I tell them. I don't tell them for your entertainment. I tell them because I want to show you that that's the way I was then. Right? That I was certifiable in many ways. I mean, really. Hold on. And of course, you know, after I met Sophia, things weren't good. I was a shell of a human. Okay? And it took me so long to be able to talk about any parts of my life. And I sure as hell I really didn't talk about anything before 1997 until 2015, 16. I started talking about more of my childhood stuff. And by the way, I would talk to everything with Sophia, to Sophia about my stuff, but to anybody else's stuff, no. I only talk to Sophia about that stuff. And I sure as hell wouldn't get on here talking about it. Okay. But there are some funny stuff. But my childhood was different than a lot of people's. Because it wasn't a matter of me being a regular teenager and spreading my wings out and all that. No. I became messed up over time. I became warped. And the bullying got so bad. The bullying did not help. But when I was a kid, you know, and I was a strange kid. Like, my mom always knew that I was going to have problems. I know that's strange, right? Then Daryl, why didn't she go take you to a counselor? Because she's a Christian. That's not the first place we choose to go. I know this for a fact, being knowing many psychiatrists and many psychologists that while I do think that if you have no choice to go to a counselor, I would prefer you go talk to people that love you before a counselor. Because some of the stuff that counselors teach nowadays are just straight evil. I'm just going to let you know that. And they don't even add God into it. They act like they're going to help you through it. Well, I'm not here to help you through anything. I am. I mean, I that's what I try to do. But I can't get to everybody. And if you think I'm here to save you, then you're at the wrong channel. I'm here to help you save yourself so that we can all get together. We can help each other. Okay? Even Jesus didn't come to this earth. If Jesus came to this earth to save everybody, then he failed in his mission because he left earth pretty early in life. He was fairly young. There were a lot of people on earth that had a lot of ailments. That's not why he came. He came to give you a chance so that you may be saved. People don't know how to read clearly. Not so that you will be saved, so that you may be saved. I get on here and I talk about my stuff so that you may be saved, not that you will be saved. I tell my stories so that you may be saved, not that you will be saved. There's a difference between those two phrases. One implies that I can save you. That's narcissistic. If I actually think, if anything ever comes out of my mouth akin to the idea that I can save you, run away. Far away. And call the hospital, by the way, when you're running away. Because that means I'm having some sort of schizophrenic delusion. No. The ingredients are for you. I carry my ingredients. I don't need to be reminded to carry my ingredients. I do it all the time. But you, however, you and who I'm looking at right now, it's you who has to carry your ingredients. I will help you find a path. I will be the person you can vent to if you like. I can be the person, like Sophia vented to me the other day. I can be the person to give you advice, if you like. Run ideas by me. And I definitely am going to be there for you as far as you're not alone. I can help you do the steps too. I can provide ambition, give you different ideas, but it's going to have to be you. In the end, it's you who has to do it. Right? Same thing with the steps. I'm not going to clean your house for you. I can be there and let you, and I will entertain you, but you have to clean your house. Can I pick up a broom or two? Sure. I can help you get through things, in other words. I can help you vent. Like I said, that's kind of part of the cleaning house. Venting is a big part of cleaning house. And as far as filling your house up with good things after you clean your house, well, that's the point of taking advice, isn't it? Taking advice and cleaning and filling your house are connected too. Some of the ingredients are connected to the steps, directly to the steps. So of course I can fill your house. I can fill your house all day long, but it's on you to keep it. I can buy you a piece of furniture all day long, but if you're looking to sell it as soon as I give it to you, I just wasted my money because you want to sell it. You don't like it. That's why I try to say from your perspective, not from mine. Because, okay, this is going to sound like I'm being really rude, but one of the reasons why I don't like it when people buy me gifts is because I would rather go buy my own, and that way you make me happy that way. I don't like it when people go buy me gifts because a lot of times they have no idea what I want, and if it's not what I want, then it's not a gift. In other words, giving me something should be something I want. If I ask you, what do you want for Christmas? Do you think anybody honestly says socks? You might be say a shirt or an outfit, but do you honestly think, if I said, I just ran into some money, and I'll buy you anything you want, Lori. I'll buy you anything you want, Denise. And who else is on here right now? I know there's one more person, I think, or two more people maybe. No, I think I'm one of the people on here. Oops. If I say that to you, so I came into some money, and I offer you, whoever you might be, I'll say, I will buy you anything you want. Okay, and you say, you hint around that maybe you want a car. And I go, okay. A couple weeks later, I come back and I give you a pair of socks. Is that a gift? No. I got you what I wanted to get you and not what you asked for. That's not a gift. That's a selfish attempt to gain some sort of favor with you, to say I bought you something. That's why I would prefer cash when people give me gifts. That way you and me, whoever you might be, you and me, the person giving me the money, we can go over to the store and you can see the joy on my face when I'm able to get what I want. That's just the way I prefer things. And you can't question that because it's the way I prefer things. One, I don't like surprises. I just don't like them. But I prefer cash, period. I don't like it when people buy me gifts for that reason. Same thing with the ingredients and the steps. If I give you advice and you're just going to blow it off out of hand, because, and by the way, without thinking it through, so you haven't even really thought whether or not even what I just suggested might work. There you go. And there's a difference between, like, let's say I'm a mechanic. And I'm giving you a different example because, yes, Lori. Let's say I'm a mechanic. And I'm an expert mechanic. I've been doing mechanic stuff for years. And you, whoever you might be know stuff about cars, but you're definitely not a mechanic. You do not know how to fix cars right, especially modern cars or whatever it might be. And I literally get paid for it every day. Like I took the education classes. So if you walk up to me and tell me how to do a car, do I have the obligation to listen to you? No. In this case, you're not the one that's educated on it. Does it mean I'm going to not listen to you? No. I listen to everybody, for example. But I reject a lot of people's advice because, one, unless you have your own YouTube channel and you know how to run one, what advice can you give me? You might be able to give me an idea or two for something as a subject matter on here. Or you might say, well, hey, Daryl, is it possible? Or like as in question form, like, is it possible for you to do this? Hey, Daryl, you think you could do this kind of music video? That kind of thing? Those are questions. You're asking legitimate questions. Of course, I'll answer you. But if you're going to come up in here telling me how to put it, the engine in, I'm giving you an example of just something. So if you think that you're going to come up to me and tell me how to put the engine of a Lamborghini in, and you don't even you've barely ever even seen a Lamborghini, don't get butthurt if I don't listen to you. A lot of people get really their feelings hurt when like what is it, y'all? I'll just give you a little insight on what goes on here. What do you think y'all do here? Like, what is it you think I do here? What do you think it takes to do one of these videos like this? And keep in mind, I'm still in the very, very amateur stage when it comes to live videos. There's so much stuff I'm going to be able to do on here. It's not even funny. This is going to look like one of my videos eventually. Now the camera, I love my camera and stuff, but unless you sit with me every day for like a week and you see what I do and you understand what it takes to put in data points for movement for graphic design, for example, or you understand how to do a glitch effect, or you understand how to turn a white object into fire, I think I got this as far as the technical stuff. What I ask, that's one of the reasons why I ask the audience, you guys, for subject matter is because the subject matter is you. Of course I want your advice on that, but that's the extent of it. Some people cross it over the line. I've had people cross over the line before and they'll be like, well, you should do this, and this different. Well, you know what? When you get a YouTube channel and you have your own YouTube channel, you can do that for yours. But since you have no idea what you're talking about, I have no obligation to listen to you. It's no different than anyone who's been like Denise. Denise was raised a certain way, right? She became a lawyer. Could you imagine me walking up to Denise and going, hey, Denise, I'm an American citizen and I demand you to listen to me as a lawyer. I think you should be doing this and this and this different according to Brazilian law. Keep in mind that I'm an American. I don't know anything about Brazilian law. Now I'm coming up to Denise, who has been educated in Brazilian law. It is not an insult to me for Denise to say, you know what? I think I got this. Just saying. This society has become really, really sensitive, in my opinion. And that's one of the things that it makes me sad, because people cannot tell the difference between giving, like, a person that, if you ask someone's opinion of something, or you ask someone to do something, they go over the line. They think that means you need advice in everything. No. Let me tell you something about my personality. All right. I prefer to figure things out on my own. It's how I learn. It's not that I don't need help. I clearly will need help on some things. But as far as knowledge is concerned, no. I don't like using calculators. I prefer the long-handed math. I'm weird like that. What that means is, when I ask a question, it means I'm legitimately asking a question. If I don't ask a question, it means I don't need your advice on that. That I need to, I for myself have to figure this out. Who's still on right now? Is that Denise or Lori? Lori, did you go pee? How's it going on right now? Speaking of which, I might go have a smoke real quick. Hey, y'all, if y'all need a drink or something, I'm gonna put that thing back up. I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, give me like, I don't know, give me a minute and a half. Okay, all right. Be back in a minute, and then we'll finish this up. All right. I didn't really have much to say tonight. I just wanted to give you guys some insight on me. That's it. Know what? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'll be back. Give me about a minute and a half, okay? Y'all listen to music for a minute, okay? All right. So, it wasn't intermission. Actually, if you really wanted to know the truth, my stomach was starting to hurt. So, thanks for the understanding, jackass. Anyway, one of the reasons why I feel the need to say this stuff to you guys now is because there's this strange thing that happens in this world today that I've noticed, in which, in fact, you know what I'm gonna do? 1 second. Where the hell did I put my damn? 1 second, guys. I'm gonna check my stomach, guys. 1 second, guys. So, one of the reasons why I'm going to do this more often, either through stories or just talking about different perspectives that I have of subject matter, but always making it be like where I'm trying to show you guys how I'm thinking about things. The reason why I think that's important is because I don't have a degree. And you go, well, Daryl, that doesn't matter. Well, I'm glad you guys feel that way, and I agree. The problem is many people do. And for me to have credibility, they have to understand why I say things, why I react the way I do, that certain subject matters are very sensitive to me, that even now it is very difficult, and I'm not used to it, not yet. It is very difficult for me to talk about, for example, my thoughts and how I think, because I am very complicated in my mind. I'm not complicated. My things I love are not complicated, but my mind is. The way I think about things is not the way you guys think about it. I'm very, very complicated. And so I'm a problem solver also. And people that are problem solvers are usually, those are the ones that are successful. I didn't understand how to use that ability before. It took a long, long time before me to even get my thoughts reined in enough, okay? And that's very, very important for you guys to understand. And whoever watches this live later, that's the thing about me, that I'm always thinking, I'm always using what I'm learning now as the things around me, the things I've observed, the things I'm paying attention to. And I'm always thinking 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 steps ahead. Like I'm thinking about how this move over here will set up this move over here, that will set up this move over here. Okay? You're supposed to think like that in martial arts, tactics. Okay? There's always when I do something, Sophia and Dwan understand this. And if you ever want to get more of an insight on this, ask them. The reason why they trust me is because they know that sometimes I do things without explanation because it needs to be done right now, and then I will explain to you after I'm done. Simple as that. Sometimes I do things because this thing over here needs to get done before I can get to this over here accomplished. And I don't have time to explain to you how to do it first. But it takes time and patience, and trust takes time. I don't expect some of the newer people that come on here, I don't expect you guys to trust me right away. I don't ask for that. You will learn to trust me over time because you will see that I'm going to be the same guy a year from now that I am now. And I find certain subject matters vital to everything that we do here. When Dwan and I start living together, one of the cooler parts about that whole situation is going to be that Dwan's going to be here. That he's going to learn directly from me. and you're going to see he's not going to be any different. Dwan is a naturally more happier guy. Okay, I have a dark side to me. You got to understand that there's a side to me that I'm always going to have those bad memories inside of my head. There's nothing I can do about it. They're less painful now, but I have been through a lot of stuff. That's right, Dwan. Tell him. But now, see, Dwan says that, but now he knows why he trusts me. Like, there's no question with Dwan. I can ask Dwan to do something right now. If he has the ability to do it, he will do it. And he does not ask questions of me. Why? Because I'm a dictator. Because I'm a narcissist. Because I have to have everything my way, exactly the way it has to happen. No, because Dwan knows that if I ask him to do something and I need him not to ask questions, it means it needs to happen right now. That I don't have time. That he can question my whatever later. And by the way, he doesn't. Dwan is not a moron. Okay? And so that's one of the things about me and Dwan's friendship. That it goes so far beyond a friendship. He's not just my friend. He's my brother. He's my brother in Christ, for one thing. Really, really. Okay? And that's right. And so Dwan is like Dwan, but I can't expect you guys to trust me like Dwan does. 25 years. It's a long time, man. So, no, I don't expect you guys to trust me like Dwan. What I would prefer that you guys do is, like, one thing I can tell you, yeah, seriously, one thing I would appreciate if you guys did, though, is, because you'll find out Dwan doesn't agree with me with everything. I sure as hell don't agree with his WWE. So sad, really. Grown-ass man watching soap operas. Oh, I'm playing with you, Dwan. You know I used to watch it. But, I know, right? Think about it. Sean's birthday is today. Okay? He's 46. Your birthday is going to be the 25th. You're going to be 46. And then I'm going to be 46 January 7th. That's effing crazy, dude. And Sean's going to be here probably next year. Yeah. Denise, you might meet Sean. Really. So, but anyway, back to what I was saying. I don't expect you guys that out of you. What I do expect you to do is examine the evidence. That does not require trust. That requires you going in and looking at the evidence. And over time, you're going to realize, as I say something to you, and you go examine the evidence, that you're going to realize how damn consistent I am. And that's just my talent. I can't explain it to you. Don't get jealous. I'm not trying to show off. That's the last thing I want. Oh yeah, Denise. You might meet Sean. Oh God, I just thought about something effing cool, Dwan. Check this out. Denise is gonna be here for a month. What if me and you, Dwan, listen to this. What if me and you and Denise and Sean and even Lori could all go out to dinner together? What if that actually happened, though? Dude, that'd be so effing cool, dude. It just dawned on me right now. That's a possibility, a real one. Oh, that would be so cool. My past and my present. Because none of you guys have met Sean. Sean's one of the nicest guy you ever meet. Like, Dwan, you will get along with Dwan. Dwan, you will get along with Sean. Trust me. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I don't. Even Jesus himself commanded his apostles not to just believe him, not to believe just anybody saying that they're Jesus. Examine the evidence. That's why I don't like the idea of doubting Thomas, right? Because everybody goes, well, doubting Thomas, he doubted Jesus. He obeyed Jesus. He examined the evidence. He did exactly what Jesus had told him before he died on the cross. He didn't just believe that Jesus had risen up from the dead. He asked to see the nails in his hands. He asked to see the hole in the side of his in his side, to make sure it was him. Because keep in mind that they couldn't have recognized him. He wouldn't have looked exactly like Jesus. He got the crap beat out of him. But enough about the Christianity thing. I'm just giving an example of something. Okay? But it works that way with anything. I don't have a piece of paper that says I have an LLC. A lot of scammers out there. I don't have a piece of paper. Now this is one. We don't have a piece of paper saying that we have an education in psychology. My education was in Winnebago Mental Health Institute, if you follow my meaning. We don't have a piece of paper saying that we're life coaches. That's a possibility. It's expensive, but that's a possibility. Sooner rather than later, hopefully. Dwan and I don't have that. Oh, it's okay, Dwan. I don't have credibility in the way you guys, not for everybody. Once they find out I have, let me tell you how I'm still treated to this day. Once a person finds out I have bipolar disorder and I am not on meds, they immediately get scared of me. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, the change in attitude. It's still like that. Even though you see me talking to you, what changed in 3 minutes? Nothing. Am I difficult to deal with? Yeah. But I chose to do it this way. I want to show people. No, that's not why I did it. I did it because I didn't need meds. I didn't want meds. I wanted to do this without meds. And now I can teach it. Your mother what? What now? I don't understand. I'm confused. Dwan, you're confusing me. Explain. Your mother what? Your mother? I don't understand what he's saying. Explain, Dwan. Please, I don't understand. You just said my mother, my brother, my sister, my cat. Oh, good. That's nice. Yes, did y'all read that? Yeah. Well, there's no reason to be. That's the way I look at that. You know, that stuff like that used to hurt my feelings. But do y'all read Dwan right there? She's not the only one. I think half of my family's like that. A lot of my family's like that. They don't know anything about y'all know more about me. Y'all know more about me than my family. So who's my family? My family that claim to be my grandmother and stuff like that, or the people that love me and are on here right now talking to me? Who's my family? I'll let y'all be the judge of that one. I know, Dwan. Dwan, you don't need to explain yourself. By the way, your mother's sin is not upon you. But Dwan, now you understand what I'm talking about. That's how people to this day will, because there is this indoctrination that happens with quite a few subjects. But a couple of them are, one, education. You can't possibly be successful without education, y'all. How could you ever no more than a professor. I never claimed that I did. Now get a professor in front of me. You want to address that one, Dwan? You think I'm afraid of a professor? Not in my life. And no, they don't know more than me. Okay? So, there's that. But then there's the psych thing. People want to know. I get asked questions that you guys would consider some of the questions that I get rude as F. I mean, I get questions all the time about, are you just going to snap at me? I got told about a month ago that there were red flags. What red flags are those? I never got the answer back. Because it's a shameful thing. Because I chose, and by the way, and I'm proving to you that they're wrong. That you don't have to be on meds. By the way, did y'all hear about that new drug that they tried to pass through the FDA? Yeah, it's for PTSD. Yay, wonderful, another drug. Yeah, FDA denied them, but the only thing good they've ever done. Do you know what it was, actually? Ecstasy. So that's what we should do. Let's drug people up with PTSD. Instead of have them solve their problems and be a better person, let's do that. You see, the fight that me and Dwan have, and Denise, now that she's joining us, the fight that anybody who joins us, and the idea, the message that we're pushing forward, it is a true, unadulterated brawl. People that you thought were kind, you're going to find out they're not as kind as you think they are. That there is a stigma to being diagnosed with a mental illness. There's a stigma to being homeless. And it's a stink that it takes a long time to get rid of. And I've been both. I've been messed up and I've been homeless. Take, for example, the shooter of Donald Trump's. I just found out something so disturbing a couple of days ago that it's hard for me to even wrap my mind around it. That the same military industrial complex that's involved with the CIA and the FBI and the Secret Service, all those people, the same people that are trying to board Chelsea Gabbard's plane, a U.S. Congresswoman, following an ex-military veteran, because they consider the left side considers all military veterans a danger to the country. They're automatically considered in the group of people that could possibly be domestic terrorists. They are already on watch lists. If you've ever been in the military, you are on a watch list. Fact. Because the left doesn't believe that. Because they want to do their agenda without any sort of barrier. And so anybody who knows how to shoot and have military tactics and know U.S. military are considered a danger. And so they're watched all the time. But they have this lovely little tactic that they use. where, let's say I say, hey, Dwan, I need you to find me someone between the ages of 18 and 25, okay? Between the ages of 18 and 25, I want them to have issues, a history of problems, okay? A history of possible mental illness, but not diagnosed. No diagnosis. In other words, there's a possibility this person could be diagnosed. So I need to find someone that's between 18 and 25, messed up in the head, has either far right or far left, far right, far left. But specifically, I want you to find someone that's on the enemy side. So in this case, it would be the Republicans. In other words, that their viewpoints mostly stand with them. And I want you to find, and I want you to someone who, so I want you to, and I want them to also be a person that is easily persuaded by conspiracy theories. I want you to go out and I want you to go look all through the internet, find someone like that for me. And now, what we're going to do is we're going to slowly twist this motherfucker's mind until he tries to kill someone. That's awful. That's what quite a few people think happened with the assassination attempt of Donald Trump. Because there's quite a few questions I have. Like, for example, why was this 20-year-old guy, barely even adult, why was this 20-year-old guy, he was obsessed with going to the gun range all the time. Now here's the problem. He was definitely a left-wing guy, though. But still far left. Okay? In other words, he donated to Biden, I do believe. But he was there on Christmas and Halloween, Thanksgiving at the gun range. On top of it, this gun range is the same gun range that the Homeland Security uses. They met him once. Yeah. They happened to be having a shooting session for their Homeland Security there at the same time as this guy was there. You tell me if that's an accident. I don't know. Is it? I'm dumb, right? I have no education. I have no idea. I'm crazy, so maybe I could be falling for a conspiracy theory. I don't think so. But that is what they do. That's what they're trained to do now. What you are seeing in media today is what they're trained to do. Is to downright either lie or outright lie for the most part. With the exception of Fox News, they're all lying. They're all trying to make you see up is down and down is up. Someone tried to kill Donald Trump. Lone shooter, right? Keep believing that. If it makes you sleep at night. If it's too scary for you. No. I don't believe that far. That as far as I can throw it. No, Dwan. But if you're not shaking in your boots and have goosebumps of fear, would you think this is like a joke? Like I'm telling some sort of joke, you can laugh now? Go somewhere else. What I just said should scare the fuck out of you. Pardon my French. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. There's stuff that going on here that you don't understand. And if you're not studying close enough, you'll miss it. Why haven't we gotten an answer from the Homeland Security people about, Secret Service people, which, by the way, they're also involved, the Secret Service people about how they could have accidentally let this guy get on a roof? How could they have had a debacle that bad? No way, man. I was born at night, not last night, motherfucker. But that's what we're doing. That's what we're dealing with right now. They went and got a crazy guy, someone who was not diagnosed, someone that, in other words, people, like, this isn't about politics. This is about they went and abused someone like me. Because it's easy to do. Don't you know, Daryl, you're crazy. That's why I have to show more proof than other people on different things. I have to show more ability than other people in certain things for me to even be believed. And the reason is because the second I tell you the truth about me having bipolar disorder, you automatically, it's not even something you can help. There is this thing that people have told people over and over again that is in your head right now that you're like, well, is this guy even safe to be around? I don't know, am I? I can snap at you. And that's how I have been treated forever. And no matter how much I change my life, I will always be treated like that. And that's what I have to overcome every single day. And that's the things that you guys don't see. I am told it every day, at least once. Every day, at least one time, I am reminded that I'm screwed up and uneducated. Because not everybody knows me like y'all. Not everybody gets to have a cigarette with me every day like Lori does. Or talk to me on the phone like Denise does. Or come over to my place. Or live with me like Dwan's going to do. You see? Some of you don't have it as bad as you think. But it's part of my life. It's how I have to deal with stuff. And that's the part you guys never, ever understand. And you can't understand it, and I wouldn't have you understand it anyways. I would never let somebody abuse you like that. And so I have to overcome those thought processes. And sometimes I have these down moments where, you know, where I think about the negative stuff that people say about me, and it's hard not to believe it sometimes. Even now, even after everything I've done, all the stuff I'm doing, there's still this part of me that still wonders if anything will ever change with my life. I'm not going to stop. We all die, but not everybody truly lives. And I live my life. The question is, do you live yours? Do you live your life every day to the fullest? No matter what anybody does. Do you say what you want to say, or do you hold back? Do you tell people who you are? Do you suck up your emotions because it's inappropriate in public? Or you everywhere, anytime, any place? That's me. It doesn't matter how much. I lost my pride years ago. remember what I said. Pride is not the same as being proud. I'm very proud of myself. But my pride, I was homeless. I've been shot at multiple times. I was hit over the head with a brick. I prostituted myself. I panhandled. I went weeks and weeks without showering, being the most awful smelling human you've ever smelled in your life in 100-degree heat in this shit in Texas. I've been hurt by every woman that's ever met me. I've hurt myself. I've wanted to die more times than you will ever know in your life. And I've tried it multiple times. I've told myself I was a piece of shit. I was nothing. I didn't deserve anyone. And so I stayed away from people. I've been raped, spat at, arrested, falsely accused. And I've done this 18 years ago. My life was at the lowest of my moments. I just was waiting to die. Then I almost did die. Yet, I still believe in y'all. After all of that, after all of everything, I still, as mad as I get, as angry as I get at people, I still have faith in you. And so, I continue on my task. The reason why is because nobody else will fucking do it. Everybody has a political agenda these days. Everybody has a, well, what do I get for it? I make twice as, Dwan makes twice as much as I do. We don't get paid for this. And if I'm being truthful, with the way the economy is, it may be a while before we ever get paid. I have all sorts of little outlets. People can subscribe to my Facebook page, and they can put stars up there. Am I making even $100 a week? No. I might make a couple bucks every once in a while. If it wasn't for Denise and some other people that continually give me money once in a while, I wouldn't have any money in that Roth IRA. Yet, for all of that, I can tell you the biggest, most giant difference between me now and me when I was homeless. It sometimes feels like I am still homeless. Having to scrape up money for cigarettes and just all the stuff that I have to do. Asking friends for money and things. It just sometimes it reminds me of that. But there's one big giant difference, and you need to know the difference. It's for the first time in my life, I know it doesn't have to be this way. It does not have to be this way for me. And so, I'm doing my damn best. That's one thing you guys can always know. So, I hope you guys are getting more insight on me. I'm gonna let you guys go. I gotta get to work. Behave yourself. I love you guys. Here's what I want you guys to think on before I go, though. What would you die for? What is it truly what you would die for? And don't include your kids. Not everybody has kids. Something you would die for. I don't even mean a person. Not really. What would you fight for? Think about that. I'll get back to you tomorrow and I'll ask you the same question. See if what people have to come up with. Don't answer now. But be safe when you're traveling. Be safe when you get there. You never know what you may find, whether it be good or bad. Be understanding of one another, not just from your perspective, but from theirs. A lot of people don't apply that to me. They understand what I mean by that, but then when it comes to me, they're not really that understanding of me. It's kind of sad, really. It's not a purposeful thing. It's just the way this world is sometimes. I don't even get mad about it. But be understanding of from their perspective. Because you can't expect everybody just to walk towards you. Sometimes they don't even know how to get up, like me in my past. And be understanding you're not God, right? You cannot solve everything all at once. So just think about that. Don't make yourself feel bad if you can't help at the moment. Remember, life is fleeting. You're not promised your next breath. So go outside your box, learn new things, and you never know what you might find out about yourself. Until tomorrow, may the Lord light guide you in all things. Goodbye.